What's up, guys? My name is Kristen, and this would be, I guess, my very first poker vlog. It's something I've been thinking about doing for a while. I've been playing, I guess, what I would call recreationally for about a year, and then you could say semi-pro for about 2 now, and I really love the game, and I wanted to kind of share my love for that and talk about the way I think about things and see if that's interesting to any of you. So this is vlog 1. If this goes well, I promise to get better camera equipment and not just my iPhone on the second floor of our house. So this session is going to be from one just a couple days ago at the lodge here in Austin, Texas, playing the 5-10-10 live stream, which is really the 5-10-10 25 50 sometimes 100 live stream. It was a pretty action-packed game, lots of really tough opponents, lots of really fun opponents, lots of fun hands, so let's get right into it. So let me start with just a little bit of context first. We actually ended up showing up about 30 minutes late to this game by accident because I misunderstood that in order to begin the stream at 3, then we actually have to show up, start playing at 2:30 because the stream is on a 30-minute delay. Sorry, Skull Mike. Won't happen again. That is why we are in this game for a random amount of $4,600 because by the time I got there, enough action had been generated that I didn't have to buy him for the 2K max, but I could match the stack. Here at the lodge, we play something called the nit game. If you're not familiar, every player is dealt out a nit button, and you can't get rid of your nit button unless you win a hand and show your cards. If you are the last person remaining with your nit button, then you owe a bounty to every other player at the table. In this case, we decided on $50 per person. So before you judge me too hard, bear that context in mind and let's go to the first hand. In this first hand, like I said, the nit game is on. We want to set the tone early for an action-packed game, so we go ahead and raise up the 6-2 of diamonds in +1 over the $25 straddle to $75. In this game, the action players that end up calling are British Bulldog, our friend Alex, and Dat, both players who are not afraid to put money in the pot and not afraid to put you in tough spots. So it's definitely happy to be to their left. In this case, they both just call, and we get a flop of King 6-5 with 2 diamonds. Basically a magic flop for my hand. I get checked 2, and we make it 200 into 240. We bet kind of large here. Again, both of these players aren't afraid to put money in the pot. As you can see, Dat goes ahead and raises it up to 600. We're not going anywhere, nothing to do but call, see a turn, see what develops. The turn is the magic 6 of hearts. So we're feeling pretty confident about our hand, especially because Dat will be raising a lot of his King X, maybe some better flush draws than us, but this card almost always puts us ahead. When he checks to us, which is an interesting development, we're gonna bet pretty big because I don't think he'll be folding a king, especially with as much as we have behind. We actually expect him to jam a lot of his kings, which, music to our ears, is exactly what he does. As soon as I confirm, we're all in with him. So right away, we see a pot of $8,940. He lets us know, I just have a king. I said, let's run it twice for the guy. He said, nope, 1 time, setting the tone again to be the action player that he is known to be. And we're just hoping not to see a king. We don't. We get the clean ace of diamonds river, which gives us a flush just for fun. And just like that, we've won our very first hand in a pot of nearly $9,000 with the 6-2 of diamonds, and we get to get rid of our nit button, which is worth an extra $350 plus the $50 that we'll get. So starting off running pretty hot here. In this next hand, the 25 straddle is on again, and we see a call from a player who likes to be referred to as the Jerky King. He actually does make jerky, so fair enough. And the British Bulldog, true to his name, raises it up to 125 with the 6-2 of clubs, Dat calls behind with the 9-6 suited, and we make a very loose call with an okay hand in the small blind. Don't recommend this play at all, but we were just trying to give a little bit of action and just having a little bit of fun at this point. And we are $9,645 effective with the initial raiser. David calls behind with the 4-3 of diamonds, and Jerky King goes ahead and makes the call as well. We get a pretty miracle flop of 10-8-7 all clubs, so we flop the third nut flush, given that there's a straight flush possibility, and we go ahead and check 5 ways here. First to act, British Bulldog also flopped a flush, so as you can imagine, this hand gets pretty spicy. When Dat, who flopped a straight, calls behind, I want to raise pretty large here. Again, these players are a bit inelastic, so I do make it $1,600, knowing that I think I'm going to get a call from not only 2-pair hands, sets, hands, straights, maybe hands containing 1 club, smaller flushes. So I do make it pretty large. The Jerky King ends up hero folding the ace of clubs. I guess you can call it hero folding. Suffice to say that Jerky King ends up making a good fold here. It is a bummer to have to fold the ace of clubs on a board like this, especially when you have players behind who are known to be pretty loose, pretty splashy, but he does find the disciplined fold, and it makes a lot of sense because given this action where Alex Bulldog continued betting into 4 other players on a flop this wet, this connected, he's representing a pretty strong range. And at this point with the ace of clubs, you have to be thinking, I am drawing to a club and a club only, and maybe not every club. So great fold, Jerky King. Alex goes ahead and makes the call to my massive raise, and now the action is on Dat, who, as you can see, flopped a straight in this insane hand as well. He takes a swig of Hennessy and a little bit of Coca-Cola to wash it down to help make his decision, but he does eventually find what is a very disciplined fold. This is actually a pretty impressive fold, but given the action, he has to assume that either someone already has a flush of the 2 other players in the hand, or he's going to have to dodge just an insane amount of outs between the 2 of us if someone has something like a set, the bigger straight that's available, or has already flopped a flush, as you can see, which is the case. So again, great fold, Dat. Now, when we're headed for a turn, I can range Bulldog pretty narrowly to hands that either contain a very big club, like the ace of clubs, sets, occasionally the flopped nut straight. So when we see the queen of spades on the turn, it is essentially a total brick. We're very happy to see it. And again, this player being pretty inelastic and occasionally a non-believer, I'm going to continue betting here, and I'm not going to bet small. The idea is to play for stacks when I flopped this strong of a hand, and to charge his ace of clubs draw if that is what he has, or his board pair draw, if you want to call it that, with any sets he might have flopped. So I definitely don't want to get outdrawn on this hand, and I also want to get max value for what is the strongest hand I could probably have here, given that I wouldn't be playing nut flushes this way. So after thinking it over a while, Bulldog is in a pretty ugly spot with a flopped 6 high flush here, but he decides to ask me how much I have behind. The answer seems to be pleasing enough to him because he does go ahead and make the call, and we are off to a river. All I can think is, please don't let it be another club, and don't pair the board, because if either of those 2 things happen, I am almost certainly dead. But this time the poker gods hear our prayer. We get the King of Spades river. We have the 3rd best possible hand. And given the way that Bulldog's played his hand, yes, he can have the nut flush. He can have straight flushes. However, we can't be scared of monsters under the bed. If it's flopped nut flush or straight flush over king high flush, so be it. We are all in. Take the money if you got it. We are very happy in this instance, however, not to get snapped. And to be honest with you, given Bulldog's demeanor throughout this entire hand, it didn't feel like a nut flush or straight flush. It didn't feel like a hand that was beat. It felt like a hand that flopped nearly as strongly as we did. And given the talk here on the river, we figured out pretty quickly that he had also flopped a flush. Pretty ugly for him to try to get away here, especially with SPR being as low as it is, which was our intention. We were hoping to draw in hands that we were beating and charge on the flop and turn hands that could have outdrawn us. So he does think for a while, he asks for a count, and he does end up making just a call in a really, really ugly spot that I think you can argue he can get away from, but there are also arguments on the other side that I am capable of doing this with a single club hand. So tough break, just bad luck, Bulldog. At this point in the session, we are up $16,060, so the run good has definitely been on our side so far, and it seems like it's not slowing down anytime soon. Raj goes ahead and raises it up to 75 in +1 with Ace King of Diamonds, and Bulldog, being the fun-loving guy that he is, 3-bets to 250 with the 9-7 of diamonds next to act. Dat calls the 3-bet with the 8-7 of clubs in the hijack, and we pick up pocket ones, aces, the best possible starting hand in poker, in the cutoff, and the nit game is back on. Which means that people's 3-bets, 4-bets, occasional 5-bets are not to be believed. So we found ourselves in the dream scenario with aces. We go ahead and cold 4-bet to 1,000. When it gets back to Raj with Ace King suited, he is aware of the dynamics of the nit game. He knows that Bulldog is going to be 3-betting light. I may be therefore 4-betting equally light. So he says, I have Ace King suited. I'm going to win this hand right here. He bumps it up to 2,500. I immediately hit him with the bad news that I am all in, removing any doubt that I might have been messing around with my cold 4-bet here. However, Raj believes that Ace King suited is just too strong to fold, a reasonable train of thought, and we decide on running it twice. And here we are. We are all in with the best starting hand that poker has ever made in a pot worth $14,400 at what is supposed to be a 5-10 game. Thankfully, both boards run out clean, but not after just a little sweat on the first board. And we go ahead and take down this entire pot, which puts our current stack at this point at $28,135. Mind you, we're in for $4,600, and this game is supposed to be 5-10. If anyone tells you that live poker is dying, send them to Texas. In the final hand of the night, Bulldog, in no doubt looking for his revenge, opens the Queen Jack off. I 3-bet kings in the straddle and get 4-bet to 3,300. We are extremely deep, as you can see. We are playing 5-10 with the $25 straddle on this hand, and we are roughly $23,000 effective. So only thing I can do is call this 4-bet. We don't want a 5-bet here this deep. We get the disgusting flop of ace, jack, jack with 2 diamonds. We have black king. So when he continues for literally any amount, we are going to fold, which is exactly what we did. He showed us that we made the good fold, but unfortunately had him demolished pre. Nice hand, Bulldog, and he will earn himself that nearly $9,000 pot to end the session. So that's it. That was our session at the lodge just a couple of days ago. We were in for $4,600, ended up being out for a net profit of $17,100 after losing that kings to queen jack hand there at the end. It was definitely a blast. I will be going back if they'll have me. I promise not to be late this time. If you all enjoyed this content, give me a like, subscribe below. It's brand new for me, so would love to hear your feedback, and maybe I'll do some more of these. I'll be heading out to Vegas this week to play just a bunch of the WSOP events, probably also be playing some cash games at King's, so stay tuned for that, and say hi if you see me. Thanks all.